Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to BCI 101, the basics of hacking with a BCI. We have a video for you which is getting started with the Muse. This is meant to be the first video in a series that will take you over a few experiments that you can do with the Muse. The motivation for this video is simply that this is something I hear all the time. I'm interested in learning about brain-computer interface, but where do I start? Okay, and so I'm showing you, I'm carrying you through what I've went through to learn about brain-computer interface. The first device I worked with is the Muse. I think it's a accessible device, it's easy to work with, and it's definitely something that can keep you busy for something like a year, just to learn the basics of biosignal processing and BCI hacking. So the objective today is to briefly explain how the Muse work. Okay, I want to use a brief format to maintain the video very short so that you really get to I get to the point, and within a few minutes you can see what you can do with the Muse. We'll go deeper as we progress in this series of video. So briefly explain how the Muse works and collect and show data from the Muse and explain what we see. The code that I'll be running today is available on the GitHub. Look in the description, so you'll be able to do the same if you own a Muse or if you buy one. The Muse is produced by Interaxon. Full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video. I recommend the Muse as a first device simply because this is the one I work with. I think it's a capable device, it's a good quality device. It's easy to get a hand on the Muse. There's many people that owns Muses, and so I think this is a good place to start. It is a device that is limited if you want to push further, either as scientific inquiry or BCI hacking, but this is a great device to just get started with, to hack around, because it's easy to use and, like I said, it's accessible. There are multiple models, not all of them are still available. So I started personally with the Muse 2014, which was running on Bluetooth. That was a great device, a very solid and reliable device. The Muse 2016 that I have here, that I'll be demoing. So this one is move from Bluetooth to Bluetooth low energy. Still a great device, it works well. All the Muse are good devices. This one I had it, I think I probably bought it somewhere around 2017 to give you an idea, and it's still working pretty well. So you see, it's a robust device. I didn't lose any Muse. At some point I was owning 10, and I think one of them I ended up like taking it apart because I thought it was broken, but besides that I think they all survive all up to today. I just lost track of some of them, but so it's a very reliable device. Then you have the Muse 2 here that introduce the PPG sensor. The PPG sensor, which is used to sense blood volume. This is from which you can extract heart dynamics. Eventually we'll dig into heart dynamics, but will be a future topic. So the Muse 2 is great. One issue with the Muse 2, by the way, is that it will disconnect, I'd say pretty much every 10 minutes. As you're streaming, it will disconnect, so you need to plan for an interface that will auto reconnect. It connects very quickly, but like I said, after every 10 minutes you get like a gap of 4 or 5 seconds where the Muse is disconnected, so plan for that. But besides that, it's a good device. Their ergonomy is good. It uses gold-plated sensors, and it's a great device. Then I don't own the Muse S. The Muse S, if you look on the website, you'll see it's fabric band. I haven't played with it, but it looks like a great device. I read through the reviews that it might be a little bit less robust. That is, over time, the polymer that they use for sensing tends to crumble a little bit. But besides that, I think it's a good device. It's a good form factor. It's used. It stays in place if you want to do sleep studies and such. So it's another good device. And then you have the newly released Muse S Athena that includes FNIR sensors for blood oxygenation. So it's the new generation of the Muse that, if you're interested, you can go for Muse Athena, which use the Muse S Athena, which use the same form factor. Currently, if you want to buy one today, I think on the website you'll get access to a Muse 2 and Muse S Athena. Personally, I prefer Muse 2. I'll tell you, for what I do, we came to the conclusion that the cleanup of the Muse 2 is easier to do than for the Muse S. if you're using the same device for multiple peoples in like a art display and things like that. So this is why I generally use the Muse too. So the Muse comes with several sensors. So you have like behind the ear, okay, these silicone ear are conductive rubber. So these are actual sensors on both sides. On the center here, you have a series of PCB, flexi PCB based sensors. On the edges here, you have AF7, AF8. Those are sensing electrodes. In the center, you have what is most likely the reference here. So that's kind of like the reference. So all sensors are referred to this electrode here. And on the sides here, this is the same electrical point. It's probably some kind of active ground or some bias circuit. And the goal here is just to electrically correct some, remove the common ground from our signal, so it improves signal quality through these elements. So the three together are called reference electrodes. Like I said, there's two rows are involved in these three electrodes. And this is here, this is the 1020 standard. Most headsets will present their where they're sensing using this representation. So we have sensing at TP9, AF7, AF8, TP10, and this is the, the nomenclature they will use when we discuss with the Muse. The Muse operation is very simple, so it starts, so here if I press on the button for just 1 or 2 seconds, you see now when it's in this state, it's powered on and it's waiting for to be connected. If you want to see the state of the battery, you just do a quick click like this, and the number of LEDs, right now it's full, but the number of LEDs will tell you roughly the quantity, the level of the battery. One thing to know is that if you happen to have a Muse that stays connected until the battery runs out, and on top of that you're a little bit unlucky, you might find the Muse in a state that leads you to think that it's broken. So it happened to me. I had a Muse that I was plugging in, I was charging, but the battery remained to the low level. And the trick I found after a while is that you can hold the button for 20-30 seconds. Now from power down, you hold it until you see the LED will change the pattern. And this is a hard reset, and it will revive your Muse. Okay, it took me I took apart one Muse before I found this trick. So your Muse is not broken, it's revivable, but you need to do this hard reset. If it happens that the battery really dies out and you have a feeling like it's not charging anymore. How do we wear the Muse? There's a few common mistakes that are made with the Muse, but wearing it, once you know how to do it and everything, is quite simple. So first, the best trick I can give you, start a little bit larger. Okay, it's much easier to adjust if you start bigger. You put it, and you want to make sure that it sits well on your ear. One mistake you'll see that people make is they start too small, and when they wear it, it ends up like this. You see, so it's way too high, and the way we sense now, obviously the proprioception with the skin on the ear, we don't see that the Muse is not well set. So start bigger. Okay, you put it on, and then you use your finger here and push. Okay, so you kind of squeeze it like that until it should sit very comfortably. The Muse is a comfortable device. I try to wear it always a finger above the eyebrows. Okay, you could technically wear it a little bit higher, but I try to have like this reference point, physical reference point, that everybody wears the Muse. I say, okay, one finger above the eyebrows, so it's kind of, it creates this kind of like common ground for everybody the way they wear their Muse. And one mistake not to make is you see the symmetry. So here I have 2, here I have 1. Okay, if it's a little bit asymmetric, I say 2 and 1, there's a symbol here, okay, that you can see on the inside. A little bit of asymmetry is not a big deal, but you want to keep it as symmetrical as possible. So you see, so I have 1 here, 2 here, so I'll just make sure to tighten only on the side that was a little bit larger, and it should be roughly symmetric. If you happen to install it on someone, you can take a look. I don't know if you see well, but no, I look above and I try to see here if the things is well centered. Okay, when you install it on someone else, it's a trick that you can see if they're wearing it properly. So the way to start with the Muse, you power it up so that it looks for connect, and then you set it on and you're good to go. So let's go with the live demonstration. So first thing, I shared on GitHub a code sample that you can access, link in the description. So you'll go in lesson 1. And here you have a BLE scanner. So if you're looking for the MAC address of your Muse, which you'll need to launch the demonstration properly, you can use this script here that will list all BLE devices in your environment. This is running on Windows. It should work on Linux and Mac, but you might have to do a little bit of workaround. It might happen, but I think it works on Linux and on Mac as well. So you see, so now I'm scanning. On the Muse, on the inside, you'll find in the description here, I have Muse, on the 2016 it's written Muse MU02, but right below it I have a serial number, and the last two items on the serial number should correspond to, you see now it's not showing up. Let's try that again. I had it, I know it's right here, but you see it should show up like this, Muse CC35, so the CC35 is what you'll find everywhere, at least marked at one place on the Muse. You see it's not showing up again, so what I'll do is I'll just reset it. I wouldn't be able to tell you why it's not showing up now. On the Muse 2016 it's even more, it's written even bigger, so you have it at the top here. I have literally Muse 21.8a. Okay, so I'm a little bit bad lucked here. Let's try with the Muse 20, the other one here. Depending on the number of devices you have in your environment, and Muse 21.8a. Okay. Oh, you see now it's showing up here. So you see, so it decided to show up. So now you have your MAC address. The MAC address is the number that you have here that you'll want to copy. And if you open the file lesson 1, you'll find here a Muse MAC address, and this is where you want to put the number of your Muse. Now that this is done, okay, I wasn't on the experiment. Let me just go. Okay, I'll launch lesson 1. Okay, which is a script that will connect the Muse and launch a live display implemented with Qt interface. Okay. I'm doing the experiment with the Muse 2016 simply because I'm so used to this device, but the Muse 2 will work just as efficiently. Actually, the Muse 2 should connect much faster. The Muse 2, you only get through a few of those and it connects. You see now it's connected, and now I have a live display. The first signal I can show you, so this is unfiltered signal. I really wanted to show you like the raw signal, just to show that for people who work with EEG device, to see a signal that has so little ambient noise, given that it's not filtered. This is why I like the Muse. It's a good quality system for what it is. It's well shielded, so you don't see too much noise. If you apply a filter, you can get even better signal even at this level. So let's see a little bit what happens here. So first, if I blink my eyes, okay, you see all these bumps here going about. This is eye blink. So this is one of the first signal you'll notice. I use generally the eye blink with any systems as a way to measure kind of like a rough idea of the signal to noise ratio, because I tried, I didn't work with it, but I tried one system a few years ago that it was so noisy. Only during the raw signal like that was so noisy you couldn't even see the eye blinks. So if you can see the eye blinks, now you get a rough idea. The more you'll see, the more you'll notice that, and it gives you a rough idea of the quality of the system. Now, eye blinks are generally considered artifacts, so I'll go back, I'll go further into this. So right now, the first thing we're going to look at is the eye blinks. Okay, now I can show you another one. This is jaw clenching, so I'll activate my muscle by jaw clenching. You see, much more powerful behind the ear. Okay, so this is TP9, AF7, AF8, TP10 in order. So again, jaw clenching. Okay. So muscle activity is generally more powerful than EEG activity, so it will often show up as noise in your data. Next one I can show you is, you see, if I just do nose razor, you see, lots of noise here. Another one I can show is frowning. You see, if I frown again, now it's more powerful in the frontal electrodes than the back ear. Okay, head movements. You see, this too will result into bad signals. And then the last one I can show you, just you see, I'm taking here, this is a cable, this is a charger, the power supply to my computer. If I bring it close to an electrode, you see, this is what we call line supply. This, you'll get a lot of that when the device is not well filtered, okay? Not well shielded. So when you have a good shieldings, it shows up less, but when you have bad shielding, it shows up more. On the front forehead, it doesn't show up too much, probably because we're close to the bias. And this is it. So this, if you get this with this demo, it shows you that the Muse work, and those are the main artifacts. Now EEG signal is kind of there, but it's of lower amplitude. So this is why I focus the live demo right now. The first test is just to show that your Muse work. You can connect to it, and you get these first set of features, that visual features that you can look at, and this is where hacking with brain-computer interface starts. So guys, this was the demo using the Muse. So as you can see, the Muse is easy to use. I showed you a few artifacts. So eye blinks, line noise that can change in frequency here. I'm in Canada, it's 60 hertz, but depending where you are in the world, it could be 50 or 60 hertz. Movements, okay, head movements, muscle activity, frowning, jaw clenching, nose raiser. So all of these are called artifacts. Of course, they all interfere with your ability to sense brain signals. Okay, there's none of these are actual brain signals. There's two. The way it works is there's two school of thoughts when it comes to brain-computer interface. On one end, you have I call them the brain-only brain-computer interface. So it's what this school of thought says is basically all brain-computer interface should use only brain signals in order to do whatever you want to do with the brain-computer interface. The brain-only, look, for academic reason, it makes a lot of sense. For some. And depending on the context, it makes a lot of sense to limit yourself to brain signals. When this happens, all of the eye blinks, line noise, muscle movements, all of these needs to be filtered out, removed, ignored when you want to get proper brain signals. It's possible. We'll sit later, but so in this situation, all of these are actual artifacts and are garbage signal that you don't want to interfere with your EEG signal. On the other hand, there's also the multimodal or hybrid BCI school of thought, where of course, we want to use we want to have access for brain signals for what they are. There's valuable metrics that are that comes from brain signals. I think of cognitive engagement. We'll see a few SSVP. So there's a few different elements that comes from brain signals, but these artifacts can also be used as elements to control. Now, eye blinks are often used to control some elements, to confirm some action. Of course, line noise is not used as a actuator for anything. It's this one we all agree is something we want to get rid of. Even head movements or muscle activity, all of this have some purpose when you expand the feature that we use through brain-computer interface. It's all comes down to what you want to do and how you want to best achieve it. The benefits of these signals, if I think of muscle activity and eye blinks, one of the great benefits is they are super easy to control. So the user can just blink his eyes and it's more easily controlled than some brain activity. So the next lesson, we'll start to look at filtering, time versus frequency domain. So those are the basics if we want to start to get better signal to work with, and how do we understand these signals beyond the time domain that I just shown. And then we'll start to work on feature extraction. That is, now that we have these elements that we can work with, how do we actually extract them and turn them into useful and pertinent information for BCI purpose. So those are, now there's a lot of depth when we start to work with feature extraction, but let's say that the next session will be to start to work with these. In terms of filtering, if some of you are curious, you can already activate filtering. Let me just see here. If you go in utils, visualization, and if you go this line here, if you put through here, this will activate the bandpass filter that will filter between 0.5 and 40 hertz. You won't see much effect, but it should already reduce any line noise that you might have. You'll see that the signal will be a little bit less edgy. But next week, next recording session, we'll look more into this. So thanks a lot for your engagement. Really nice to have you on this channel. If you want to join the Discord, if you want to talk to me, reach me, join the community. The link to the Discord is in the description. If you want to get access to the code, the link to the GitHub repo is also in the description. So this is where you can get this and replicate these examples with you. If you need some support, either through the Git, but I'd say that the Discord is probably the best way to reach me. Now you're on YouTube, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I mean, any positive comment is when you start a YouTube channel, is so encouraging to see people engaging with your content. If you have negative comment, you can drop them. I prefer if you flip them into constructive remarks. Okay, it's a little bit less of it has less of a negative impact on your motivation. But any suggestions is welcome if it applies. So. Some of you, by the way, I'm just opening a little parenthesis here. Some of you might be curious, why am I presenting the Muse, considering that I'm myself working on my own brain-computer interface system. On the left here, you have the Nucleus Alchemiac, which is I'm launching right now. Okay, there's a few people that will get the device shortly, and hopefully it will scale up. So this is the electronics that basically this is what you would have in a Muse. Okay, if you want to play with that, but there's more channels and more peripherals. So I have the Nucleus Alchemiac and the Nucleus Hermes that should come out this fall. Well, the Muse is where I started, and I wanted like something that is easy for people to get started with. These two items are definitely a little bit more advanced, I'd say intermediate level at least. I try to make them easy to use still, but it's definitely a little bit more advanced than what the Muse does. So this is why I wanted to start with the Muse, build up, help people develop the knowledge and the expertise to work with brain-computer interface, knowing that in the future you might want to work with more advanced systems such as the Nucleus Alchemiac or the Nucleus Hermes. So this is why, even though I have my own systems, I prefer today to work with the Muse to show you how the basics can work. So if you're interested by this, I mean, just join the Discord. This is where you get all the details. So thanks a lot for your engagement, and I'll see you around.